We can do it for later. All right, once this loads, here we go. Okay, cool. So hello, welcome. My name's Amy. I run the Pulse Board organization and I put together a little presentation for you guys. I am a business owner in the pole community, and so I've done a lot of research on this for myself. I also participate in several entrepreneurial groups that have given us free webinars, like different resources and stuff. So all of this information is just things that I've compiled over the last week, and hopefully they'll be helpful to you too. So yeah, CARES Act information for business owners, and also applies to independent contractors. So if you guys all have instructors, or if you are an instructor, it could apply to you as well. I do have to make a disclaimer and say that like the following is not financial or legal advice, and so it's my interpretation of the CARES Act or the stimulus bill, the actual text, and then a collection of all of the other information that I've gathered to help my own business. So you are encouraged, or I encourage you to consult with your own advisors before making any decisions about the presentation. So the two options basically that are available to us in the bill that just got recently passed are the Paycheck Protection Program, or the PPP, so that's the one on the left, and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and that is the one on the right. So this little diagram, I'll send you guys the PowerPoint after this so that you can have it, but it basically has a whole comparison of like the two sides, and so we'll go through each one, but this is kind of the overall general, what did the CARES Act do for us? So this first, we'll start off with the Payroll Protection Program. So this one's the PPP, and I'll go through the following questions here. So who is eligible for this one? So this one is small businesses and nonprofits. So this one does not apply to independent contractors or other workers, as far as I'm aware. This one you apply at your bank after or around April 3rd. So you go through a regular bank. They have to have a loan program in place through the SBA called the 7A loan program. They think that the SBA is going to brief them on the application, different details of the program, by April 3rd, which is this Friday, but that's not like a hard deadline. That's just like what they think is going to happen. My recommendation to you at this point is go to your bank, figure out if they do offer the 7A program. If they don't, go find another bank that does, and start figuring out who the person is there that you would want to talk to that might be able to help you get this kind of loan. So I think that having the connection early on is really important. I don't think that the money is going to last all that long from my research. I know it sounds like the bill like is giving a lot of money, but I think the number of people that are going to apply for it is just very large. So we want to be first in line. So how much is this for? So they're going to take your average monthly payroll cost. And we were having a debate in our WhatsApp group about what is a payroll cost. My understanding of it is employees only. So your independent contractors, if you pay them, that does not get factored into your monthly payroll cost. So you take your monthly payroll cost and you multiply it by 2.5, and that is the amount of this loan that you are eligible for. So what can you use the money for? You can use this money for supporting payroll, employee salaries, paid sick or medical leave, insurance, mortgage, rent, and utilities payments. I'm pretty sure that I copied that directly from the site, so that should be an extensive list of what you can use it for. Is it free money? Possibly. So you would be eligible for loan forgiveness, meaning that you don't have to pay it or portions of it back for an 8-week period of payroll plus mortgage, interest plus rent plus utilities. So if you get a loan and a portion of it does not get forgiven, then you basically pay out that part like as a regular loan over 10 years at 4% interest. So the reason that this stuff is a little bit nebulous is, again, none of these applications are available yet. The banks don't really even know what's going on. All this stuff just got passed, so recently that they don't know. So I think that this is going to become a lot more clear in the next week after the banks get briefed from the SBA. So what's the cost to receive this loan? So for loans up to 350,000, which I think is where probably most of our industry is going to end up, the bank is allowed to charge you a 5% fee in order to process the loan. So the federal government, the SBA, doesn't charge anything, but the bank is allowed to charge 5%. If you go above 350, if you're getting up to like 2 million, I believe it's 3% interest. No, I'm sorry, not interest, a 3% charge for processing. And then if it's over 1 or 2 million, then it goes down from there. But I'm pretty sure our industry, this just doesn't really apply to us. So that's kind of an overall of the payroll protection program. The economic injury disaster loan, which is the second program, is the EIDL. So who's eligible for this one? So small businesses and any individual operating as a sole proprietor or an independent contractor. So this one does include instructors, and also includes small businesses. How much is this one for? So the SBA makes you an offer after you submit your application. So the amount that is going to be offered on this one is completely unclear to me and most of the other people that I've talked to. You have to fill it out. You have to fill out like an application, and they don't, like, you can't ask for a certain amount. You can't say like, I need this or I need that. So I think that they just get back to you and make you an offer. So what can you use this one for? It's pretty much the same as the other one. So you can provide sick leave, you can use payroll, rent, but this one's a little more open, that they have this phrase, other business expenses that are not affordable due to revenue loss. So that to me says that this one is much more open-ended than the other one, and you could probably have some wiggle room to decide like what exactly it is you want to use it for. So how do I apply? This one is directly through the SBA disaster loan website. So we've also been talking about the disaster loan website. I know that many of us have applied for disaster loans like way before this bill even got passed, because there was like an older way to do it. But if you did do that disaster loan before today, you need to do the EIDL application again. It's like a completely different form. It doesn't take very long. It's way less extensive than the other one. So it's actually not that big of a deal. I think it took me maybe 30 minutes, and that's because I pushed the back button and deleted my info accidentally and I had to start over. So it was pretty fast. The website was fast. So I think the application process should be pretty easy for you. So is this one free money? Some of it. So you can check a box in the application that says, I request an immediate amount of up to $10,000, and it does not have to be paid back. So there's no cost to apply for and receive this one. This one is directly through the federal government, and they're not charging for that. Okay, so also just to share a little bit of what I'm doing so that you can see maybe the pathway that I chose to take. Maybe that's helpful to you. So I'm applying for both. My business qualifies for both. We have employees, and then also we'd like to see if we can get the immediate up to $10,000 as the grant. I'm pretty sure that the money is going to run out, and I think it will possibly run out quickly. So I want to get in both lines as quickly as possible, just to see like which one I end up getting. The other thing that that I think you should know is that, at least from what I'm aware, you don't have to accept what you're offered. So if I apply for a loan, or if I apply for the EIDL and they offer me something and I'm like, you know what, actually it's 2 weeks later and for some reason I'm like not happy with the offer, I don't like it, or I'm just in a different place, I can decide later. But at least applying for both of them today, or the one today and then the other one next week when it's available, then I just get to push that decision process off to later. So I applied for the EIDL on the SBA disaster loan website. The application's easy, and I screenshot the application pages so that you can collect your information before you start it, if that's helpful to you. And then I'll send that to you also when I send you the recording of the presentation. I also got in touch with a bank that does SBA 7A loans. So now I have a banking contact who's going to alert me when the PPP applications become available. And they estimate that's around Friday, April 3rd, or I suppose maybe the following Monday, but they'll let me know. Let's see. Okay, cool. So questions, we'll do questions now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see all of you. But if you guys wanted to send us a message, if you need anything, I'm more than happy to help. I mean, again, I'm not a financial professional or investment professional, but I have done a lot of research and I think our industry is really important. Our community is really important. So if there's anything that I can offer you to help make the process easier, then I would love to do so. So that's our email. I run our Instagram, so you can always DM me and I can get, you on there. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And then we can do some questions. Okay, so you can do questions in a couple of ways. I can I'll post in the chat so that you can see, hey, general chat. And if you have questions, please post them here. Or you can unmute yourself and you can ask, and I'm more than happy to provide any clarification that I can. Okay, Marcy is asking, I believe we can't get both. I did the EIDL application today, but now it seems that aside from the initial 10K, the loan has to be paid back where the PPP is forgivable. Do you know if there's a way to pull out my EIDL application? So my interpretation of this one is that if you get offered money from the EIDL and you don't want it, you can just tell them at that time, like, sorry, like, thanks for offering, but no, I don't want it. But no, there's not a way to pull the application at this point. As far as to saying you can't get both. So if you apply for one, you are totally allowed to apply for the other. It's not like applying for one excludes you from the other one. If you get any grant, any initial free money from the EIDL, then basically if you also get the PPP, then there's some deduction so that you're not like double dipping. I would also like to clarify that I think there's some maybe misinformation that people think that by applying for the EIDL, you automatically just get $10,000. And the actual language in it is that they potentially could grant you up to $10,000. So they're not saying that just because you check the box, you get a free 10K. It's if you check the box, you are eligible to potentially get up to 10,000, and they're not clear on how they make that distinction on who gets what. Okay, so Jordan says, oh, I don't think we can unmute. I'm sorry. I think I made it so that you can, but maybe I screwed it up. Let's see. So the PPP loan description says a fixed 4% interest. So that's just fixed for the unused portion if there's not any used. So the PPP is a loan. Both of them are, let's just be clear, they're loan programs. Then if you can prove that you've used the money for the approved cost or the approved expenses on either side, most of which is payroll, then they forgive that portion of it and that portion of it turns into a grant. Any other money you get besides the forgiven portion, yes, it's a loan at 4%. You're very welcome. I really have felt very helpless in this whole situation. I don't feel like I really can do a lot to help myself and my own business. And so it's been at least a little bit rewarding to contribute to the group. So you guys are actually really helping me, at least emotionally. So thanks. Okay, so Courtney says, so the EIDL loan applies to instructors who are not studio owners as well. The answer to that one is yes. They are allowed to submit through the disaster loan website, and they could potentially get some free money with that initial grant, and then potentially like a loan as well. Sherry, so when do we have to pay back the loan or start? That one actually depends on which program you end up in. If we go back to, let me just double check so that I don't say wrong. I'll check for you, but basically one of them, you get a 6-month period of grace where you don't have to pay anything. And then the second one, you have to start paying right away. Let's see. Leanne says, I heard they're clarifying the terms and there's a chance that independent contractors could be included in payroll expenses. Yes, you're correct in that they are clarifying the terms. And so when the banking applications come out, it should detail that. But the way that it's currently written, their independent contractors aren't included, but it's unclear. Yeah, let's hope. Totally. Yeah, sure. Thanks. Okay, Andrea says, what other documents will we need to get together for the loans? I know someone mentioned payroll since February 2019 was what their bank asked for. Yeah, I think that was probably me that posted that one. So the way that they do the 2.5 times payroll calculation, it's like, I don't know why they would write this, but it's basically the payroll calculation from February 15th of 2019 through June 30th, 2019. Whatever your average monthly payroll for that time period is, times 2.5 is the amount of the PPP loan that you're eligible for. My bank has asked me to get together a payroll really from February 2019 all the way till now. But again, it's all sort of preemptive because they still don't know what's even going to be on the application. My other recommendation, which I've heard from other webinars that I've been taking about this topic, is that filing your 2019 taxes or getting your books as updated as you can, like all the way through January of this year, will be very helpful because then at least you'll have an understanding of what your expenses and payroll were like for the entire year in case they ask for that. So you don't, just because you file taxes doesn't mean that you actually have to submit payment. So that's what I did. I submitted my 2019 filing, but I haven't actually paid any money that I owe on it yet. Okay, Sherry says, I felt so lost, but at least I know we're all lost together. I appreciate your help along the way. Yeah, for sure, dude. I mean, we're a community, right? And we have to stick together. And I think we all sink or swim together. So yeah, it's been nice hearing from everybody too. All right, cool. Well, I don't want to keep everybody on like a super long time if we don't have any other questions. If you guys have like specific things that you want to ask about your specific situation, you can send me a message, write me in the WhatsApp, whatever it is that you want to do. But I'll send you the presentation so that you have that. I'll also include for you the screenshots of the EIDL application. So if you want to submit that one, you can see what it is along the way. And then if you didn't catch that during the initial part of the conversation, if you push the back button in your browser, it deletes all your info. So don't do that, because don't be like me and have to start over. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Have a good one.